In this video we're going to have a look at how we can use Pythagoras' theorem to work out the length of the longest side. So we're going to have an example like this one here where we've been given the lengths of two shorter sides of my right angle triangle. That's a right angle, I've got that in the corner. And we're trying to work out the length of the hypotenuse. Each of these questions we're going to go through 5 steps, and we're going to make sure every question we do each of those 5 steps in order. So the first thing we're going to do is label the hypotenuse and the other sides. I'm going to start off by drawing an arrow away from my right angle. That's always going to point towards the longest side in my triangle, and I'm going to call that C. So the longest side we're always going to call C. The other two sides I'm going to call A and B. I'm going to call that one A and I'm going to call that one B. It doesn't matter which way around I put the A and B. I can swap them around, I'd still get the same answer. But I must call this longest side C, otherwise my formula's not going to work. Okay? So I've done step 1. I've labelled my hypotenuse C, and the other sides I've called A and B. So step number 2, I'm going to write my formula. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Let's write it down. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Doesn't matter how many of these questions I'm going to do on the run, I'm always going to write that formula down as step number 2. Next step, we're going to substitute our values. Well, we know that the value of A is 3 and the value of B is equal to 4 centimetres. So I'm going to substitute those two values into Pythagoras' formula. So A is 3, so that's going to give me 3 squared. B has got the value 4, so that's plus 4 squared, and that's going to equal C squared. I don't know what C is, it's the variable that I'm trying to find. It's the length of my hypotenuse. So I've substituted my values, I've done step 3. I now need to simplify down. Well, I know what 3 squared is, that's 3 times 3, that's going to be 9. And I need to add 4 squared, so that's 4 times 4, so that's going to be 16, and that's going to equal C squared. 9 and 16, well, I'm going to add those together. 9 and 16 is going to give me 25, and that's equal to C squared. We've done a lot of work so far, we've picked up quite a lot of method marks, and we're almost, but not quite there. We've simplified our expression down. C squared is equal to 25. We need to remember this really important last step. So far we've worked out C squared, so just like we've done the last couple of lessons, that's the area of the square that's sitting on top of the hypotenuse. But I don't want that area, I just want the length of the hypotenuse itself. So I don't want C squared, I want C. So to get from C squared 25 is equal to 5. 5 lots of 5 equals 25. So my value of C is 5. I can rewrite that as C equals 5. I can remember my units. 5 equals C equals 5 centimetres. Okay? Question's finished. What I like to do when I finish any of these Pythagoras questions is to do a quick sense check. And what we have got is we've got a length of 3 and a length of 4, and I'm trying to find out the longest side. So my longest side needs to be bigger than 3 and 4. So I've come up with a value of 5, bigger than 3 and bigger than 4, so I'm happy with my answer. Passes my sense check. Okay. Let's have a look at another example. So this one's similar. We've got another right angle triangle. I know that if I draw my arrow it's going to point towards C, my hypotenuse, so I'm still trying to find the length of my longest side. I've been given the other two shorter sides. A is equal to 7 and B equals 2. Again, I could swap the A and B around, wouldn't make any difference, I'd still get the same value, but that C value needs to be my longest side opposite my right angle. So I've labelled my side, my hypotenuse and my other two sides. Next step, we're going to write the formula down. So every time we're going to write it in. A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. We've done step 2. Third step, we're going to substitute our values. So A is equal to 7, so I've got 7 squared. I'm then going to add B squared, or B is equal to 2, so I've got 2 squared, and that's still equal to C squared. 7 squared is 49. We should know most of our square numbers up to 10, preferably up to 12. If you can't remember, use your calculator. So 7 times 7 is 49. 2 squared, that one really should know, is 4. So 49 plus 4 is equal to c squared. 49 plus 4 is 53, and that's equal to c squared. Now that one's not going to be a nice number, so there isn't a whole number that's going to square to give me 53. I'm going to need my calculator to make sure it's switched on. I'm going to use the square root button, which is this one over here. So we're going to do square root of 53 is equal to, calculator's giving me a third, so I'm going to use my FD or my S to D button, and that's going to give me an answer of 7.28. Just make sure you can see that. So 7.28 is equal to C, so we've done the square root of both of those numbers. So square root of C squared is C, square root of 53, 7.28 to 2 decimal places. Sometimes the question will tell you the level of accuracy that it wants. This one hasn't. If in doubt, 2 decimal places is usually a good option. So C is equal to 7.28 centimetres, and I'm going to write in to 2 decimal places, so my level of accuracy that I've used in this particular case, 7.28. I'm going to do that final sense check. So I've got a length of 7, a length of 2. I'm trying to find the longest side, the hypotenuse, so I'm looking for an answer that's bigger than 7 and 2. I've got 7.28, so it passes my sense check. Okay, and job done.